I guess people have been waiting for this for quite some time.
Yeah, you know,
so
I wanted to
exciting.
tell you guys I brought you a little present. So there's a...
Pills.
Pills, yeah. There's a chicken shirt that we wear on the show that
Right.
became sort of iconic. So a fan gave me chicken pins, and I gave you guys chicken pins.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I can't put on this blouse. It's cute, huh?
Well, everybody's looking better than ever, even
Yeah, you look
after
good,
20
the three of
years.
you,
Yeah.
very good.
Thank
Everybody
you.
looks
didn't
good.
change.
So now y'all just, so who's going to ask the question now?
Sorry, back to Whoopi.
All right. What's different this time around?
Yeah, what's different on the show?
Well, we were saying, you know, memorizing our lines is a lot harder,
Yeah.
Nightmare.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's different as well is that we have 30 years of history, and I've never had that experience in an acting job. It's like I just don't have to do any homework. So if you're feeling lazy, it's
Right,
great because
right.
you have these long-time relationships. So if I have an argument with my sister on the show, I remember doing it, just even in my body, I remember doing it for the last
Right.
30 years.
Yeah. But, you know, you actually came up with the idea to have this reboot. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, I thought about it, and I was just lucky that everybody wanted to do it. I think we all
Right.
thought that nobody else wanted to do it, and it just took some phone calls. And
But
it
you're
all
the
happened.
EP, correct?
One of them.
One of the EPs?
With Roseanne.
So I'm wondering, you know, I remember back in the day when this first started, now I wasn't there, so this is just what I read. It was quite tumultuous.
Yes, tumultuous is the mot juste.
It is the most used. And did the most used aren't you afraid this is going to happen again? Who cares,
Oh,
right?
hell no.
No.
No. Well, they're all...
No, that was-
Everyone's older now.
That was kind of blown out anyway, but
I was a little scared.
we always had a blast on the show.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
cast and crew, there was never any trouble there.
Yeah, no matter
Right.
what was going on, once we get on set, it was great.
Yeah.
It's always
You could
fun.
see the
disappeared.
chemistry, absolutely. It's been a very fun
We
show.
all love working together.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting to get another chance to do it.
Yeah.
Well, the show was groundbreaking because it portrayed the working class in such a realistic way. Now, this time around, you guys are taking on some pretty heavy topics. You're covering
We
the
always
election,
did, though.
healthcare,
Yeah.
unemployment, guns, the opioid crisis. How do you sit down and decide which ones you want to deal with? Because most people would stay away from a lot of this.
Not us.
Not them.
It also how it affects the family, and that's us, and how we deal with it, and we've always dealt with it with humor.
I think we all sat down and talked about the things that we thought might be affecting this family, how they would be going through it, how they would be dealing with it. And I think in the press, the press likes to say that the show is so extremely political, but it's really not as political as they say. It's really how do politics divide a family, which is something that the entire country is dealing with.
Right, exactly.
And how it affects the family.
That's
you
right.
know,
Right.
Because
And how you deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed there's a little brown baby.
I know. I got a brown granddaughter.
I like that.
I love it. I always wanted that. And for real,
Yeah.
on the show, because we did this, you know, we always did heavy subjects, but we did DJ Won't Kiss the Black Girl show.
Right.
And this is tipping it a little, but I thought how cool it would be that when he grew up, he married that girl.
Right.
So that's how we got her.
Love
That's
it.
good.
I love
That's
it.
nice,
Because
yeah.
that's real. You know, how do you deal with all of this stuff? Yeah.
Because working class families are really diverse and integrated families.
If you working next to somebody, it's hard not to fall in love sometimes. And
That's
they
right.
may not be the color you
That's
were
right.
imagining, but
That's true, more so than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just gotten more diverse.
yeah.
And then on the show, Roseanne, in the show, you voted for Trump. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, I wanted to show an accurate depiction of our country. You know, people are really, I know so many families, you know, that are divided over the election still, and they still, like, you know, are fighting and stuff. So we wanted to show that and how our family deals with it. And we all have the hope that people will start talking to each other again, because that's what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. So, were you surprised to discover that the country was actually waiting for this? The reboot?
Well, we'll know tomorrow on the ratings.
Well, no, because if you listen to people, if you listen to people and you read stuff, people are talking about the fact that you were dealing with all kinds of things 20 years ago, and that they were comfortable seeing you all deal with it, which helped them. I've been reading a lot of the stuff, so I wondered if you all were surprised by people going, you know what, this is a great idea. We really like this.
Let's do it again.
Well, we were hoping, right?
hoping.
I mean, we had the feeling that it seemed like the perfect moment, but you never know until you put something out there.
People are still watching the reruns.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yep. Now, so, that's the other Sarah.
Sarah.
Should I ask
You spell your name correctly as well. Thank you.
Yes.
All these years later, the Connors are still living paycheck to paycheck and barely getting by. You did a lot of research going into this and actually interviewed people in the Illinois town the show is based in. What did you find?
One thing we found that's interesting and will be reflected on the show is that, well, it used to be predominantly a white community, and now it's like something like, is it 60% Hispanic now, and 20% Thai, and so we're a minority now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting how much the communities changed, but also something we found was that the people in the Connors situation would be making less money now than they were then, and that's without even factoring inflation in.
Yeah.
And that's 20 years ago. So we wanted to make sure going in that we're accurately representing the struggle of the middle class.
Yeah.
And what I like so much is that our producers went down there and they were telling us, this made me laugh. She goes, we asked people, these are Hollywood folk going down there. And she says, do you have concern about getting serving your family organic food? And they all go, nah.
Finest organic mac and cheese.
Yeah. We don't have an organic bodega. Go figure. We should, though.
That would be good.
Yeah. That's me.
That's another question for you.
Easy peasy. Unlike many reboots that end up on Netflix, you wanted Roseanne to air on a network.
Yeah, why a network? Why not? Why not, one of those, streaming stations, for instance, where you could actually use other language?
I know.
Yeah.
I thought about that, and I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool if they
That
could
would be cool.
swear and stuff.
It wouldn't add anything.
Yeah.
But then everybody said, well, your core audience, a lot of them can't afford, they don't have cable, so.
That's a good
so we wanted to be where they are.
Yeah. And this is where you were.
Yeah.
Why not?
This is our home.
Yeah.